Hi, great to be connecting with you today. I'm going to be talking with you about quantum separation. So, relationships between twin flames and other quantum relationships, such as soulmates and so forth, a lot of those, the connection is so strong, so intense, and there's all kinds of luggage that gets in the way, all kinds of forces try to block us. And I've been trying to figure this out more and more profoundly over the years. And I'll talk with you in this video about what I've learned in terms of healing those things and increasing the potential of reconnecting, or you go on with your life more fully in a way that feels right for you, for both of you. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rami. I've been in the helping field now for a little while. For 49 years, my training is couple and family therapy. I'm certified as a trainer with the accrediting body in the field. And I started a little while ago trying to figure out how this works without realizing that I was doing it. So a thesis for my first degree, I was looking at resistance and blockages to people growing, and 1978. So forever ago, and then for my master's, my thesis, without realizing where I was going, I got guided to focus on relationship breakdown, on divorce and the various implications that dance between partners in terms of separation and so forth. So the universe has guided me to sit here with you today and in terms of the mission that I've been doing forever. So we don't know about previous lifetimes. I haven't checked that out in terms of what are the various factors here, but I'm getting a yes that I've been on it for a while. So part of the gig is I was with Jill for my twin flame for 10 years. And we created a bunch of videos and webinars and so forth, and all of that's available on our websites. Now you can choose to check that out. And she ended up getting very, very sick, and I was looking after her and so forth, and we were very focused on that for an extended period of time for 2.5 years. And since then, um, she continued to be sick. She didn't fully heal, and so she decided to go on retreat, communing with the divine, and trying to heal that way, going to the spiritual through that route. And of course, I was up in arms and so forth, but I had to surrender that more and more and more profoundly and learn more deeply in the process. So here we are today. So energetically, it feels to me like Jill and I are in energy together, but also divine couples are here energetically. Some of you may feel some of that. Just allow. Let's go into silence for a few seconds. Let's ask to repair your galactic cord from the heart chakra up to the divine. Repair the antakarana, the first 6 inches over your head, 15 centimeters. Upgrade your seventh chakra. Repair your heart chakra so you can receive more fully a broken heart in terms of separation. Do that now. And if you can only receive a tiny little bit today, that's okay. I'll give you an overview today in terms of various issues to heal, as well as I'll take you through some healing exercises. So for now, we're in silence together. A few seconds. Let's ask for Lady Nada, who specializes in helping twin flames to heal and to be more deeply connected. Let's ask for her to help out. So the healing is for you and for your true beloved throughout this call. Everything that I'll be saying relate to both of you, and we don't guarantee anything. We serve, we clear, we go as deeply as we can, and then again, more and more deeply, more profoundly, more into profound ascension. So profound ascension, it doesn't fit together really deep and really high, but it fits totally together because you can only go as high as you've been low. So allow that to happen. The sacred energies to go in really deeply into your system, into all the various levels, gradually. Can't do it all right away. It's a little bit at a time so you don't get overwhelmed. That's part of the goal in terms of being twin flames, whether we're together or not, to help us go on ascension. It's the rocket fuel. And then to help us go more deeply on mission, whether we're focused only on 5D or on 5D and 3D. Have the energy go into that part of you. Sacred union, obviously, is part of what we're healing. Within you, within the other guy, between you. And the energies goes out more broadly, helping to heal for others as well. In this video, I'll talk with you about various types of obstructions to ascension, but especially, maybe not even, maybe I shouldn't even use the word especially, twin flames. There are so many different things, and we have to transcend all of those in order to go up and up and up, using the relationship to help us ascend more and more, to commune with the divine more and more fully, to become a sacred being, quantum being, whether we're together or not. So we'll be using the energy of the relationship to help us go there. Have the devastation be healed a little more. Okay. There are various levels that are really essential to know in terms of clearing. So, as you know, I've been at it for a while now in terms of all of this. And so I've had to learn some things, and then it wasn't enough, so then I've had to learn more things, and then I had to go more deeply. As soon as we blame the other guy and say the other guy's an idiot and so on, we're stuck. As soon as we take ownership and say, okay, I am failing, I am not succeeding in what I need to accomplish, guide me, O my Lord. Help me see more fully, more broadly. It's the same with all of us. I need to take ownership for this is not working. And then we ask for guidance. And then we open more fully for the universe to guide us. So I'm quite imperfect at it. I mean, I'm just imperfect at it. And I've been at it for a while, and I learn more and more and more, and I go more and more profoundly. So that's the gig. We open, we serve, we surrender the results, more and more and more. Okay, so I'm going to talk with you about the various aspects that need to be clear. There's some that I'll just mention in passing, and some things I'll go more deeply with you. We'll do some clearing with you through this call. So if you're focused on other things, only part of you is receiving. So I recommend that you put whatever it is down. Whether you're driving or whether you're changing diapers or whatever it might be, cutting potatoes. So be present, because we're working with the divine today. Part of what I'm doing is I'm giving you an overview of a webinar series on this topic, and so you'll have the option later whether you want to go, if you want to go more deeply. We cover all of the various topics that I'll discuss with you really deeply in terms of you understanding and in terms of you clearing for you and your beloved. And there's no guarantee what happens with your beloved, with you and your beloved. We open, we serve, and go from there. So some of the pieces that we need to understand is that we have various subpersonalities that want different things. My inner child really wants a yumminess and coziness and loving and so forth in the relationship. So I act accordingly. So if my beloved's not available, I might whine or I might shut down, I might whatever, have different reactions. And some of our reactions at the various levels that I'll talk about with you come from obviously this life, our childhood. But we're multidimensional beings, so it comes from previous lifetimes. And as we grow and transform, we connect with other energies. So think of soul group members and extended soul group members, or cousins and extended cousins and so on. We're clearing for them. So for those of you who are into quick fixes, this is not it. What I do, the goal is to go more deeply, more profoundly, more and more into sacredness, and more into saying yes. If the goal, if the divine is taking me through fires of purification, which is part of the goal, of course, then I need to say yes. Scared like hell, and I need to do it anyway. And there's some fires of purification. It looks like I need to go, but I don't. So there's some curses and there's dark energies and so forth. There's all kinds of energies that lead us astray. So we need a discernment in terms of figuring out what the path is, what I need to clear and so forth. Part of what we've done is we've created a webinar series in terms of this, and the series that I'm talking about with you has that information as well. There's a variety of charts. And let me be guided, I'll show you. So 7, I'm guided to go to other players. This one's a fairly simple chart as compared to some others. I use a pendulum to guide me. And I'm guided to two different things at once, mother and father. This lifetime, other lifetimes. So we need to clear, so we've learned some maps in terms of how to be in relationship from those guys. Seeing how mom and dad were interacting when you were small. So our subpersonalities developed from that. You're supposed to, right, be just like dad, or you're supposed to be the opposite of dad, a bomb or whatever, right? So partly there's templates, there's maps in terms of how things should be that we learned from watching those guys, but also other people and their relationships. So then our inner lover says that you're supposed to behave like this, and the other guy has different maps, right? That they learned in different places, this and other lifetimes. So the goal, part of the goal, is to clear more and more and more profoundly, so we can be more and more essence together. That's it. That's it. It's yikesy. Our ego freaks out. Our inner male says, I want to do this and this, and our inner female says, I want this other thing. Right? So we're torn within us. So part of it is we see what's going on within us, our reactions, so forth. I need to take ownership for that, rather than saying it's your fault. Everything was cool for me before I met you. Now my life is hell, right? And my life could be so perfect if you were perfect, if you were behaved better. So we need to clear those things more and more profoundly, because the universe orchestrates for these difficulties to happen, the various types of challenges and so forth. And more energy, a lot of energy goes through us to help purify us as well. So the energy can be overwhelming. And the amount of stuff that we need to go through. So this isn't for the faint of heart. If that's what you want, you need to go over there and work with those other people, or on your own, or people who have a simpler map. Just love, and that's all. You're the divine beloved, and they'll come no matter what. and you know, they may or may not make predictions in terms of next year or 2 months from now, or and some others say, well, it's the other person is hell on wheels. Get away from from them as soon as possible. And there's various flavors in between. So so sorry, but we're not into that. We're not gonna do that with you. One of the issues to clear are the subpersonalities. Another one is our sensitivity. So for twin flames and quantum relationships, and we're highly sensitive people, so advanced souls, and so we have strong antenna. And part of what's happened to us is because we went through some major difficulties this life and other lifetimes, a lot of that is shut down, and we have distortions and so forth. As we clear more and more our luggage in relation to seeing, in relation to old wounds, and so in terms of past relationships, then we can see our relationship as being more fully sacred. And it's my sacred path to transform, whether the other guy comes back or not. So for Jill, me and my beloved, I have no idea whether she'll come back or not, physically at 3D level. I can feel her energetically, but at 3D, I don't know. So I have to surrender more and more deeply my yearning, my ego, my petty side, my judgment, all of that. So our sensitivity, as we become more sensitive and as we see more clearly, we can see all those things more precisely. And you can use charts to help you assess very precisely. And we have a whole bunch of tools that we teach people to clear the various levels of energy. So they can, yeah, that's all. We have damage at the soul level as well, of course. Past lives, there's very different levels and angles in terms of this. I'll only talk a little bit about this here. So the past life issues. There's damage in terms of separating from our beloved. Some people talk about soul shock. Our soul is in shock. And so from other things may have happened earlier this lifetime. There was a plan for your parents to stay together and they separated, for example. And your soul went, right? Now what? That was the plan, and now what? But it's trauma as well. Part of it is we need to commune with the divine, with the universe, with God, whatever term you want to use, more and more deeply. But we don't trust that guy. You know what you did to me all those lifetimes? Arms are crossed. Forget it. I ain't doing this. So there could be 90% of us or 70% of us or whatever that says, yes, oh my Lord. But there's some underlying parts that says, no way in hell, bucko. I ain't doing this with you. Right? So let's do a tiny clearing now in relation to the divine. Let's ask Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael. We work with a lot of high beings, and we work with the unmanifest as well. For most people, it's easier to work with various high beings. If you have a favorite one, for example, Christ or Krishna or whatever, work with them. But then you do depending on how well it works for you, you can do a test drive and say, okay, let me try those other ones. So let's ask for unicorn energy to clear some of the wounding that we have at the soul level in relation to the divine. I don't trust you, right? I'm terrified of you. I feel unworthy of you. You're going to bring me things that are just impossible to do. I feel like a failure so much from so many lifetimes. So clear that. Some of that relates to our inner male. Let's ask for our inner male to go up to the light and clear some parts of that. Of course, our inner female too, and so forth. Let's clear that part of us for just now. Stay with that for a little bit. There may be some blockages. Like we have various layers of frozen energies, and within the frozen energies, there's a combination of light or potential and darkness, or various forms of dark energies that are frozen together. And as we clear, we can experience some of that increase in terms of the potential as we go, and some energies that are waking up, and we end up feeling attacked and blocked and etc. So we have to go through and beyond all of that. I'll talk with you about various forms of blockages now. I've talked to some about that. Now I'm going to talk about various forms of trauma. So there's trauma from early childhood. We all know about that. Most forms of clearing that don't succeed very well because the maps are a little, I'm really sorry to say. For many people, the maps are very useful in terms of childhood, and you do the clearing in relation to that and so forth. But for advanced souls, it's more complex. We're more in touch, more impacted by our past lives and so forth, and our incarnations with previous peoples, and we have past life vows and contracts with those other guys over there. So we need to look at those things more broadly, more deeply. But it's an area that's really crucial to clear, right? But to do so multidimensionally, my experience is far, far, far more effective. I spent decades trying to clear some of these things for me, and I didn't get very far, unfortunately, and that impacted our relationship, just as Jill's wounding impacted our relationships. That's an essential piece that gets us all tangled up. One of the most essential pieces, and you can think of other forms of difficulties and trauma, like our sensitivity and our gender issues, and for example, you're a male and your brain works in particular ways, and that impacts your ability to heal, and or blocks you from healing, or you see it as useless and you need to do other things, and etc., etc. So, and collective energy. Watch all these videos in terms of twin flames, and you picked up some beliefs in the process. And just the energies in terms of being a twin flame at various levels, or other quantum relationship. We're connected to all of that. So we need to clear more and more. So we're clearing not only for ourselves, we're also clearing for the collective. As we ascend more and more, whether we're with our true beloved or not, physically, we go into quantum more and more fully, more and more of the time, more and more deeply, higher and higher, right? Okay. So I said earlier that we learned maps in terms of what a healthy relationship is or is not from our parents, and watching our parents and other people. There's that aspect. And there's also maps that we have from other lifetimes. And depending on whether you're male or female, right? So you have maps in your DNA in terms of a woman supposed to be like this, and a man supposed to be like this and like this. And some of you chose to be a couple of just male and male together, or female and female together, various maps. And you come from different parts of the world, right? So there's maps in terms of how you're supposed to be. For example, if you grew up Muslim in Syria, as opposed to a Christian in the Northwest in the USA, as opposed to Buddhist in China. So you learn very different maps. So you connect with each other, and you think you're speaking the same language, but there's some things that don't understand, and we have some deep maps within us that we're not even conscious of that we have. And when we go into intensity, when we get scared, when we feel overwhelmed, when we're terrified of losing our beloved, etc., those things come up to the surface and we act out. So we act out like a freaking out inner child, for example, right? It's an opportunity to see ourselves more fully, go into forgiveness and compassion for us and for the other guy, because they go through some of that too, and we only see some aspects. So we need some tools to be able to see more and more profoundly, to heal more and more deeply. Let's take a few seconds. Let's ask to clear the space. Let's ask Spirit to clear the space between you and your true beloved from this lifetime. Unresolved luggage. And remember, we're only able to clear a portion at a time, otherwise it'd be overwhelming. Lords of Karma, Archangel Michael, clear the space between you and the other guy. Clear your heart chakra, parts of you closed, frozen, terrified. Allow yourself to feel more fully. Connection between you and the other guy. As you feel more fully, then you can start to feel more accurately the suffering that they go through. But the suffering, the distrust, really, let's say the distrust, for example. You clear your distrust and you're able to trust more and more. Then you connect with the other guy. It's a process, it's a back and forth, but then you're feeling some of their energy and they have a bunch of distrust, but all you feel is distrust. Oh, I have another layer to clear. But it's not yours, it's the other guy's. So if as soon as you identify, I am connected energetically with the other guy, and part of what I'm feeling is mine, and part of what I'm feeling is theirs, and part of what I'm feeling is the collective, and etc. The more precise you are, the more you can clear these things really quickly. And if you identify them incorrectly, I distrust the sacred relationship. You think it's yours, and you can't clear it. And then you can act accordingly, and it belongs to the other guy, or it belongs to them from a previous lifetime, right? When the two of you connected, or there's a vow in relation to somebody else, and so on. We can be totally, I've experienced this multitudes of times. I'm an expert on getting out to lunch sometimes. That's part of how we learn, right? We fail. And if we persist, if we say, I need to go more deeply here, I need to learn, then the divine helps us and we learn more and more fully. We learn various tools and etc. To be cocky, there's not that much room for that on this bus. If you want to go anywhere in terms of a sacred relationship. And we have a variety of webinar series, including one, quantum clearing in relation to separation and beyond. So for those, some of you want to get back together, some of you not, and etc. Some of you don't know. So we clear the potential for you in relation to mission, new connection with the divine, and etc. Clear wounding, and then there's more choice, and then the other guy has free will. There's no guarantees. We don't guarantee anything. It's just part of how the universe works. Okay, so I mentioned very briefly collective trauma. So the energy in terms of so many twin flames and others are separated. We can get caught up in those energies, so we need to identify that and clear it. Clear it more and more fully. Clear our soul wounds, mentioned earlier. Gender issues as well, right? So I think of the feminine in so many, in most cultures, the feminine women having been fairly powerless in terms of relationships, and the man would go out to war. So the different wounding with the different genders, and it's partly affected by what cultures you're connected to. But all of us have connected with various cultures over previous lifetimes. So as we go towards sacred union more and more fully, all of these unresolved chunks of luggage from various places, childhood, this lifetime, ancestral trauma, past life trauma, and etc., and vows and etc., come up to be healed. And we clear more and more, we're able to go a little closer and a little more. And if you think in terms of the 7 chakras that everybody talks about along our spine, we may be doing really well at the upper chakras, but there's a bunch of unresolved stuff at the lower chakras that keeps us apart. We have to be willing to look at all the various levels. It's yikesy. It's very yikesy. I mean, we're not talking fun here. So, but at the same time, it is fun because we're learn so much more and go, wow, look at that. Let me see if there's what else I want to tell you. There's birth trauma, of course. So there's trauma in terms of if there was difficulty with your birth or the birth of the other guy, the pregnancy wasn't wanted, and etc. Attachment trauma is part of this, right? So let's say one of you, for most, I feel like saying almost all. That's what I know. Almost all twin flames and other people in quantum relationships have gone through really major difficulties in terms of growing up, but not all. So we have some of that stuff that we need to clear. It affects our ability to bond. We talk about those things in the other videos, and in our webinar series will help you go more and more deeply. There's trauma within the family, given what they went through. I talked about separation, for example, and etc. Give me a few seconds. I'm scanning. Okay. So my perception, in order to go more and more into sacred union within ourselves, my inner masculine, my inner feminine, and for them to function at a higher level. And for me to go into sacred union with my true beloved over there, to increase the potential, they have free will, I have to clear the energies between me and them at the various levels, ancestral trauma, collective trauma, past life trauma, soul level trauma, and more broadly. And in order for me to connect with the divine, even if you say, I don't want that relationship, but I want to use the energies of the separation because it's brought so much stuff, it's so much in our face, so visible. It's a fabulous opportunity to go more and more deeply to heal and transform. So our webinar series takes people through all of that, teach people how to very precisely assess and clear the various things. Okay, so let's go into greater peace together. Let's do a tiny bit before we wrap up. Connect with your heart chakra. You can choose to put your left hand on your heart chakra if you want. Greater peace. If you got overwhelmed by all the different things that I said in this video, that's okay. Not okay, but it's okay. Because part of the gig is to see, oh my gosh, there's all these different things to work on. And we feel like a failure. And we say, okay, now what else do I need to learn? Part of the gig, even at the soul level and the guide level, the twin flame thing and the other quantum relationships is so new. There's a whole bunch of things for them to learn. So partly as we learn, Spirit learns from us as well. So gradually, The goal is to increase the likelihood of success more and more profoundly. Whether we reconnect with our true beloved or not, don't know. I have to surrender that more and more fully. Heart chakra, compassion for yourself and your suffering. And we send compassion and healing to the other guy. Let's ask for Kuan Yin to help with that. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Lakshmi, Lady Nada. Take a few seconds. If you're interested in going more deeply with all of this, check below, hit the button below, and it'll take you to the information you need. Wonderful being with you. Namaste.